The samples were found a week ago, so it begs the question how much plutonium is really out there now. Plutonium is very, very lethal. In fact, an organic farmer living near that area has reportedly committed suicide. He was 64 years old, and it just shows you how much concern farmers are around there about whether they can grow their crops. Now, the Nuclear Safety Agency is saying that the findings of plutonium seems to indicate that there is indeed damage to fuel rods. They aren't saying so far that that means there's a crack in the container vessels, but it's certainly a much more worrying development now than the other findings in the past.
And angry scenes there as well in Parliament amid calls for a larger evacuation of the population.
Well, that's right. There have been calls for quite a long time now. For example, Greenpeace has been saying all along that there's a village called Iitate that's about 40 kilometers from that area that has very high levels of radiation that people could get sick and die there. The government so far has been sticking with its 30-kilometer radius, but they're warning people not to go back home. Many people want to go back home, collect their valuables, look for missing relatives. The government's telling them not to do that, and there are also reports that there are still people who are staying behind there that don't want to leave their homes. A lot of them are senior citizens who have nowhere else to go and don't want to go anywhere.
And another toll this morning of the number of people dead and missing, gone up to 28,000 people now. How are relief efforts progressing after the tsunami?
Well, talking about the death toll, I'm in Kesanuma right now, and that's a city of 70,000 people that was just obliterated by these huge tsunami waves. And this is one example that the police are counting the number of people that are registered as dead or missing. They're not counting people who are unaccounted for. And what I mean by that is that there are perhaps whole families that disappeared, and there's nobody left to register their names with the police. And a lot of the people, the 200,000 people that are still in shelters, are basically in some kind of psychological disarray and unable to go and register those names too. So there really is a question of how many people are indeed deceased. And also there's still a sense here that it's very much cut off from the rest of the Japan. The gas stations aren't open. There's a lack of gasoline. There's only 2 buses that go from here to the nearest city. So we're still very cut off from what's going on elsewhere in Japan.